Without sustainable, healthy, utilitarian housing, it's simply not possible to have a stable family. So you can't think about education or health or crime and safety without first thinking about housing and shelter.
Affordable housing is critical. I mean, first of all, if people have affordable housing, then families have that much more left over that they can use to spend on critical needs such as clothing and food and school supplies and transportation. So I think it's absolutely critical, not to mention just the stress of the worry of how you're going to pay for your next rent.
Got here, it was like a relief. We got to sleep in our own bedroom. My daughter was ecstatic. She was running around like a little kid. You know, I never seen her with a smile on her face like that. I mean, she smiled all day. I mean, to sit at our own table and eat a dinner, it's beautiful, you know. I got a door and a key. I don't have to worry about being in the cold. You know, I don't have to worry about where my next meal's coming from. I could cook my own meals, you know.
Building affordable housing, working on community redevelopment and neighborhood revitalization, it's very complex. There's a lot of moving parts and a lot of partners, and I think Enterprise, if it's anything, Enterprise is the glue. It's the binding force that I think helps pull all those partners together and make their contribution worth more than the sum of its parts.
And Enterprise is sort of the coach. And I have enough confidence in their statements for me to move forward and take these risks that have now translated into what are beautiful buildings.
When I first worked for Enterprise in the early 90s, one of the first jobs I did was I went around and interviewed new tenants, people who had just moved into a new Enterprise home or apartment, and it was just fascinating to hear people's stories about how that one thing, getting a home that they could afford, had completely transformed their lives in so many other ways.
Well, I'm going to school now. It's an opportunity that I didn't have before, going for a medical assistant. And I'm improving on my English, and I'm doing both at the same time, English and the career itself. So that's a goal for me. I mean, it's a dream. I'm trying to improve my, way of living for me and my kids, and I have to do it, and I'm going for it.
I get the butterflies in my stomach just to know that every single day I can come to a house, a nice, clean, peaceful house, that I can be with my family. I'm happy. I'm really happy to live here.
Well, I think 10 years ago or 20 years ago, it was very obvious what the issue was. You would walk around the Bronx or parts of Brooklyn or even the Lower East Side and really see empty buildings, dilapidated buildings. A lot has happened in 20 years. A lot of those buildings have been rehabbed and put into quality ownership for affordable housing. But what we're worried about going forward is returning to 20 years ago and seeing disinvestment, and we're starting to see it in some of the neighborhoods, and we really can't let that happen.
I mean, I think what makes me hopeful is that we are very fortunate in New York to have groups like Enterprise who are committed, who are innovative, and I'm confident that they will be there on the cutting edge, helping us to address whatever the housing problem is of the day.
You find think tanks, the groups that write great white papers and do great conceptual framings, and then you find implementers, organizations who are doing the work on the ground. The highest compliment I have are for those organizations that are what I call do tanks. The ability to think big, think ambitiously and with great vision, but never to lose a groundedness, a sense of authenticity that comes from working in community, with community, and implementing those big ideas. Very few organizations do that well. Enterprise does.